patterns for us. Now today, sir will cover grass pattern for us. Okay, so in previous lecture was enjoyed by everyone. So similarly, I hope today also you will enjoy this beautiful lecture by Ravipatki sir. So please please be quiet and listen to everything whatever sir says. And if you have any query doubt, you can ask. Okay, so no problem. So sir, please sir, you start sir for the lecture sir. Thank you sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pratik Kamble, sir, from MMCOE, for giving me the opportunity to present myself in front of your department and in front of your student. So, welcome all of you, MMCOE, TEIT, and BEIT students. Hope I will give my maximum to you people, and I will explain you each and everything regarding the grass patterns, how to use these grass patterns, that is how to do the responsibility assignments using the grass pattern. So don't worry, your all worries on my head, and I will explain you how to prepare this point or this section of unit number 5 of our SDM for exam point of view also. And if further, if you have any query or anything, my number is with you people, my mail ID is with you people. You can follow me on LinkedIn also. I will solve your doubts also. I'm happy to solve your doubts. So people, we start our journey towards the design pattern. We explore more design patterns, that is grass. So I'm converting my view into my presentation view. First, give me one, some of your students. Am I audible to all of you? Give some response.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, Amay. Thank you, sir. So we'll
Yes,
start
yes.
now. I'm moving to my presentation view. So today we're going to discuss the grass pattern, GRASP, grass patterns. So these are the again special types of patterns like gang of four. So in last sessions we have seen what do you mean by patterns. Patterns are nothing but the problem, possible solution, and context. The combination of all these three things is called as a pattern. So as in our life, we are using some good things. That is, the somebody elder person in our home, such as our dada dadi or our mummy papa says, always say true things, don't do this thing, don't do that thing. That is, they are teaching us the very good things, the good ethics and the things. And if we are following that good ethics, good principle in your life, obviously our life become very easy and very fruitful. So same thing, these are the principles in software design. If we are following these principles, similar to principle in our life, our design become very good one, extensible one. The less maintainable software will be created if we are following this principle. So before moving towards the grass principle, first I will introduce you the responsibility driven design. That is, what do you mean by responsibility driven design? So I welcome you all people to the journey of these grass patterns. You can find out more on design pattern at my YouTube channel also, www.youtube.com/riseandshine kg2pg. So you can find out more things, more technical videos, more academic videos, more subject related videos on this YouTube channel also. So kindly like, share, subscribe, and visit this channel also. So welcome to the journey of this pattern, grass pattern. So my student, UML is the only visual modeling language, and knowing UML doesn't teach you how to think in object. That is, UML is just a tool, but that is still unit number 4. You learn how to use this tool. how to draw the different diagram, how to analyze the thing, how to convert it into beautiful designs. But that is if you are having good colors, good brush, or good canvas, means not you are a good painter or good artist. So having a color with you or having a tools, good drawing papers, or means not you are a good artist or good painter. So to design the things, so critical design tool for software development is a mind well educated in design principles. If you know the good design principle, then and then you can do the good design. So you must know all that design principle, such as gang of four principle, grass principles. That is, our mind is a good tool to design a good software. So obviously, that is by saying this, it is not the thing that the UML is not important. UML is also important, but along with UML, so the critical design tool for software development or best design is a mind, but it not just mind. That mind well educated with some good design principles, and that design principles we are going to learn today in these sessions. All of you know review of analysis artifacts. So we have done good analysis. That is, first we have find out the domain model in our unit number 3 or unit number 2. Domain model means we have find out the classes, then we have given the name to that classes, we have find out attributes, then we have find out the methods, whatever the entities in the real-time business by some noun phase approach, some CRC approach. We have find out that thing and we have designed one domain model. Then we have moved further. We have designed some use case model also, such as use case diagram, the actor, use cases, extend relationship, and the users relationship. Then we have write the use case text also. We have done the use system sequence diagram also for each and every use case. We have designed the activity diagram also for each and every use case. That's fine. But while doing this thing, so what articraft we have find in object design? The articrafts mean the elements we have find out using the during the analysis become the input for design. Always you know the how software engineering or how software life cycle moves from analysis towards design, and via design towards implementation we are moving. So in analysis, so for design analysis, whatever you have done in analysis is a input for design. So what we have find out? Use case text. So during object oriented design, use case realizations are designed to realize the use cases. Or we have find out the supplementary specification, such as we have designed the SRS for our system. This define the functional, non-functional requirement which satisfy by our system. We have find out system sequence diagram. We have find out design some good glossaries for our project which we are developing. That is, glossary clarifies the details of the parameter of data coming from UI layer or data being passed to the databases, detailed atom specific logic, validation. We have designed so many, we have analyzed so many things through glossary. We have done the operation contracts also. Operation contract may complete the use case text. That is, we have designed the use case text. We call this as a fully dressed use case diagram. That is, what are the actors for that use case? What are the primary actor, secondary actor? What is the main flow in that use case diagram? What are the supplementary flows? What are the optional flows? What are the exceptions for that use case? We have designed all that operational contracts also. We have designed domain model also. That is, domain model suggests some names, attributes, methods of that class. We have find out the thing. So overall approach during the object-oriented design model will be based on the metaphor of responsibility-driven design. Means before starting design, or we can say that before refining the design, these principles are used for good design, as well as if you are already designed have a design in your hand. If you already have a design in your hand, but to refine that design, as we have drawn the picture, or when we are writing some assignment, then again we are reviewing that assignment. Is anything is missing in that? In the same thing in software development life cycle, when we have a design in your hand, but again we are reviewing that design. So when we are reviewing that design, this RDD is very important. That is called as responsibility driven design. Means after finishing the analysis or after finishing the initial design, we have some classes, we have some entities, and we have some responsibilities. So we have both the things in our hand. We have some classes, we have some responsibility, but how to assign these responsibility to which class? Or what is there any method? Is there any principles to assign in the responsibilities? Because all of you learn the CRC approach, that is class, responsibility, and collaborations. But how to assign the responsibility? Now you have a set of classes, set of responsibilities. But how to assign that responsibility to which class? For that, it is called as a responsibility driven design. Whatever design we are following, or whatever the methods we are following to design, is always responsibility driven. Means responsibility driven means we are having certain responsibilities, and we are assigning that responsibility in a such a way to the entities, whatever the classes we have find out, in a such a way that so that our design become reusable, our design become robust, our design become less maintainable. You should assign the responsibility in a such a way that your project should have, or whatever software you develop through that design, it should be less maintainable. So today in industry, development is not a problem, but maintenance is very huge problem in the industry. That is, if 10 paisa is a cost of development, 90 paisa is a cost of maintenance. So how to reduce that cost? Obviously, in any business, whether it is software or anything, the profit is a benchline. How to increase the profit of software industry? Obviously, one of the thing is design less maintainable software, design extensible software, so that whenever there is a change in business requirement, you can accommodate that change very easily, very smoothly in your already developed software. And for that, this responsibility driven design plays very important role. So assign a responsibility in such a way that to your classes, so that your software become less maintainable, more extensible. So we'll see how. So in RDD, we think about how to assign the responsibility to collaborating objects. Obviously, objects are collaborating with each other to fulfill that responsibility. It is not the case that only single object or single class will do all the responsibilities. That is not the case. So how to assign that responsibility? So RDD is all about how to assign the responsibility to collaborating objects. So during object-oriented design, various object-oriented design principles are applied through design patterns such as GRASP and GOR. So how to assign this responsibility? Obviously, there are some principles. Obviously, if you don't know the things, what you are doing? You are following some principles. Suppose you don't know how to do the things, anything. Suppose you don't know how to develop a website. What you are doing? You are reading some book. You are taking some expert opinion. You are going to some classes, and then you learn how to develop a website. That is, that teacher or that something or that expert will teach you some principles, some theories. So same thing. These patterns are, we already seen in last session, patterns are nothing but it is the principles designed by the experts by trial and error methods. So some principles are there. Such principles are GRASP principles and Gang Up 4 principles. Definitely, I will guarantee you, if you are following these principles while coding. In last session, I also told today 12th student also can do the coding, or you can heard the you have seen the some advertisement on TV also, White Hat Juniors. कि चिंटू भी कोड कर रहा है आजकल. Chintu is also designing that. But what Bunty is doing the engineering, but still he is not able to draw the good code. So today or nowadays, everyone is doing the coding, but doing the coding is not the job of software engineering. Doing the right coding, doing the right coding, doing the more maintainable coding, doing the more extensible coding, that is important. So this is the difference between Chintu, who is learning from Whitehead Junior, and Bunty, who is learning the engineering. So think about that. So doing the coding, आपको चिंटू बनना है या बंटी बनना है, you think. So you must know all these principles while designing your software. Designing is a very great job. For that, the right brain should work, and for coding, your left brain is working. But it is an art. So learn such principles, practice such principles while you are doing. So I will teach you how to learn this, how these GRASS principles are more helpful while you are doing the coding, or while you are designing the software, or while finding the classes, assigning the responsibility. So the main output of object-oriented design are the interaction and class diagram. So other output is package diagram, UI sketches and prototype, database models, and report sketches and prototype. So this is the output of our design. So the main output of object design are the interaction and class diagrams. But that interaction and class diagram, you should refine. You no doubt you have done that class. You have find out the classes in analysis also. You have designed domain model in analysis also. You have designed class diagram in analysis also. But in design, now it is time to assign the responsibility to your classes. Hey class, do this thing. Hey class number 4, you do this thing. Hey account class, you do that thing. Assign the responsibility to that classes. And you create, and then other output are package the classes in the group. You design the UI sketches, maybe using PowerPoint presentation, or maybe using pen and pencil, or maybe using any another software. You design the database models based on that. What should be the tables, ER diagram. That is the output of design model. Or you should design the report sketches. Okay, how should be my report should be look like? What is my customer need? And finally, you based on this, you design some prototype. Maybe it is closed prototype, or maybe it is open prototype. Okay. So one way of thinking about design of software object in terms of responsibility, roles, and collaboration. So one way of thinking about the design of software object is in terms of responsibility. So you design the classes in this way. What is the role of that class in my software? Yes, this is the role. Okay, what are the responsibilities I can assign to this class? Yes, these are responsibility I can. Okay, to complete that responsibility, whether my class is capable to fulfill that all responsibilities alone. If yes, it is okay. If not, to fulfill that responsibility, who is a collaborator? To whom my class should take help, or from whom my class should take help to complete that responsibility. So you design your classes in this way. You find out the role, find out the class. You have a responsibility in your hand after doing the analysis. Now you are in design phase. Then think about that class, what that class can do, what responsibility I can assign to that class. Then think about that, whether that class will complete all that responsibility. If yes, okay. If not, so from whom should I take help to complete that responsibility? Yes, XYZ I have find out. I have assigned a responsibility to that class, but that XYZ is not capable to complete that responsibility A. Okay, then I should take a help of PQR class. Okay, now that XYZ and PQR collaborate with each other and they will do. But how to assign the responsibility? That is main question. How to assign responsibility? Because responsibility या classes तो खुद से नहीं बोलेंगे कि yes I can do that. No, we have to assign the responsibility, good responsibility, the best. You have to do the best combination. This is responsibility, these are classes. You have two sets, but you have to assign the responsibility in very good manner so that your design become more maintainable. I'm using that word: maintainable, extensible, usable. More scope should be there. Accommodate. business change. So if there is a good design, automatically there is a good coding and good software is. So coding, a design is a base for your software. It should be good one. And if you want to do the good things, obviously we have to follow some principles, and that principles are nothing but. So in RDD, we think of software object as having responsibility. Responsibilities of an object refer to its obligations or behavior in terms of its role. Responsibilities are assigned to the classes of object during object design. So basically an object have two types of responsibility. First responsibility is called as doing responsibilities. Doing responsibilities are such as doing something itself, such as creating an object. Creating up its own object is a doing responsibility. That is, class should have its own constructor, and that constructor is executed means its object is created. So it is called as doing responsibility. Or doing some calculation. Suppose area is a class, and within that calc area is a responsibility of that circle class. So it is doing responsibility. So it has to take some parameter, it has to take some constant, it has to do some coding, and it is doing the calculation and finding out the area. Doing responsibility of class. Initiating the action on another object. Call the methods of another class. Doing responsibility. Controlling and coordinating the activities in other object. Doing responsibility. Next type of responsibilities are knowing responsibilities. So what do you mean by knowing responsibilities? Such as knowing about the private encapsulated data of another class. Knowing responsibility. That is, one class want to know the encapsulated data of another class. Or knowing about the related objects. Whether I can pass my parameter to that another class. My class should know whether that class is capable to handle my data, or whether that class is having the method which fulfill my responsibility. You must know. Or you consider the object analogous to students. Students are also having some doing responsibility and knowing responsibility. Doing responsibility, student should do the homework, student should do the assignments. But knowing responsibility, student should know where is my classroom, student should know what is the timetable, student should know at what time exam is there, and then student do that exam. So same thing, knowing and doing responsibility, knowing about the things it can believe. So we have to think whenever you are assigning the responsibility to the object, whether it is a doing responsibility or knowing responsibility. It is doing responsibility or knowing responsibility. So example, I will give POS. All of you know POS means point of sale. In any supermarket, whenever you are doing the billing, that point is called as point of sale. And for that, some softwares are designed, and that boy at that supermarket end will scan our QR code or barcode, and he will do the billing for us. So for that POS software, whatever the objects in that POS software, the doing responsibility to the calculate of total of sale. It is a doing responsibility. We have to calculate total sale. How we can calculate total sale? Unit price into number of quantity. Unit price into number of quantity. We are calculating such a thing for each and every item we have purchased. And then we are doing the totaling of all the subtotals. So in this way we are doing. So it is doing responsibility of sales object. Or responsibility, know the line item of sales. How many items I have purchased. It is also knowing responsibility. So to calculate the sale, total sale or total of any bill, I first know how many items I have purchased. Then I can calculate sale. So it is knowing responsibility. So calculating is doing responsibility. But I must know how many items I knowing responsibility. Responsibility, generate a receipt of sale. Doing responsibility. It is doing responsibility. or to handle a new cell doing responsibility. So in this way, so guideline, the domain model often inspires knowing responsibility of software object. So guideline is, what is the guideline? The domain model often inspires us the knowing responsibility of software domain object. So for example, suppose cell class has a time attribute in domain model. Cell is a one class. So we then might assign to the software cell class a responsibility for knowing the time of cell, because on our receipt, whatever receipt is generated, on that there is a date and time. If that receipt is not having date and time, then that receipt is invalid receipt. Knowing my cell. So for example, suppose cell class has a time attribute in the domain model. We then might assign to the software cell class, whatever the cell class we are designing, we should assign that cell class the responsibility. That is, that cell class must know the time of cell. Getting my thing? There are two cell object. One is a cell object in domain model at analysis level. And when we are designing that cell class, we must know, अरे माझ्या cell class ला माहित पाहिजे, my class must know the time. That is a knowing responsibility of cell class. Okay. So responsibilities and methods are not the same. Now, don't confuse between that. Responsibility means a method of class. No. That is not the case. Responsibilities and method are not the same. Now, don't confuse. Yes, assigning the responsibility to the class means we have to write one method in a class. No, not at all. Translation of responsibility into classes and method is influenced by the granularity of responsibility. Now, what do you mean by granularity of responsibility? That is, that responsibility is how big or how small. The size of responsibility. But size is not appropriate word, so I use the word granularity. So how that responsibility is a big one or small one? That responsibility is big one. So depend on granularity. Big responsibility may be translated to hundreds of classes and methods. Getting my point? So responsibility and method is not the same thing, my students. So whenever you are assigning the responsibility, you think about that. Whether that class, that object is able to fulfill this responsibility alone. एकटा करू शकतो का? Yes, okay. If not, assign that responsibility, distribute that responsibility among the n number of objects. So obviously, responsibility and method is not a class. So don't jumble between the responsibility and method. So small responsibility might take just one method. Example, responsibility to create a cell object. Okay, cell class can create cell object. We can write constructor. But responsibility to access to relational database. It is not a responsibility handled by the single object. We have to design so many classes, and within that classes, so many objects to handle such access to relational databases. So RDD also includes the idea of collaboration. That is how we can collaborating the object. Responsibilities are implemented by means of methods that either act alone or collaborate with other methods and objects. So RDD means not just assigning the responsibility. Responsibility driven design, which we are following to design the class using the GRASS, design the software. So RDD not include just assign the responsibility. It also include the idea of collaboration. Responsibilities are implemented by means of methods that either act alone or collaborate with other methods in other objects. So RDD generate the metaphor of thinking about object-oriented software design. It leads to viewing and object-oriented design as a community of collaborating responsible objects. So this is all about RDD. So again, I will request you kindly like, share, subscribe to my channel. So this is all about RDD. But we have learned this RDD. We have learned this RDD, no doubt. The RDD is very good, or it is responsibility driven design. We are assigning the responsibility using knowing and doing thing, and responsibility, assigning responsibility means we are doing collaboration also, or we are finding collaboration also. Okay, that's fine. Okay, up to this point, it is fine. But how to assign the responsibility? Or is there any way to assign the responsibility? Yes, obviously. There are some principles to assign the responsibilities in good manner. And that principles are already designed by so many software engineers. Just we have to follow that principle. So in our day-to-day life also, we are following the Ramayana, Krishna, Ramayana, Mahabharata, because these are the good stories. Don't behave like Kauravas. Obviously, if you are behaving like Kauravas, your life will be miserable then. The end is not good one. Always behave like Pandava. Always say truth. Or Sri Krishna or Bhagavad Gita is there. He is giving us how to live a life. Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. That is, these are the principles of life. In the same way, there is a Bhagavad Gita or some principles for our software design, and we are going to learn that principles today. That is, we know responsibility driven design, how to design the using responsibility, but how to assign responsibility, that is big question. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि first 10 responsibility assigned to object number 1, next 10 responsibility assigned to object number 2. We are doing in such a way? No. If you are doing in such a way, then your software will not work. Or if it is work, it is more maintainable then. Or no one is interested in purchasing your software, or in some days your software will be going in a dabba. It will become a scrap one. So we'll learn how to assign the responsibility. So second section of today's session is we are learning that principles, and that principles are nothing but the GRASP principle, GRASP, GRASP design principles. So again, I will advertise my institute, Logically Infotech, and my YouTube channel. So if you want to learn the good software development, or you want to learn the web development, so we are providing so many courses on Angular and React, native React, Java, advanced Java, Java Spring Boot. So we will design the things. It is my mistake here. Quality spelling is wrong. Okay, bear my mistake. So if you want to design, so Logical Infotech is our institute, or we can call it as a IT Gurukul. We are having one software company also, Technogrowth Software Solution Private Limited. So we are assigning you directly the project from that software company. So we are the only people in the Pune who are having own software company and own teaching institute. I'm not calling it an institute. We call it as IT Gurukul. So Logical Infotech. So it is here your trainer is not giving you the training. Here the software people, software expert will give you the training, or teach you how to design the softwares. So we are providing so many courses from data visualization, data science, machine learning to up to website design, and so many things from simple C to up to Angular and Python. We can learn anything. And this is our channel. The channel is also having so many good videos on software development, Angular, Java. So you visit that. Kindly like, share, subscribe. So we learn GRASP. So GRASP. So my student, what do you mean by GRASP? GRASP. GRASP stands for, it is an acronym. GRASP stands for General Responsibility Assignment Software Patterns. GRASP. GRASP. And these GRASP are nothing but guidelines in assigning the responsibility to collaborating object. So how to assign the responsibility? We learn in our real life. नेहमी खरे बोलावे, रोज आंघोळ करावी, रोज स्वच्छ कपडे घालावे. These are the principles in our life. In the same way, these are the principles to design to assign the responsibility. So I will again rectify my statement. To assign the responsibility. You have a classes, you have a responsibility. How to assign? So these are the principles. So there are 9 GRASS principles: creator, information, expert, low coupling. So there is again mistake. Low coupling. So low coupling, controller, high cohesion, indirection, polymorphism, protected, variation, and pure fabrication. So these are the GRASS principles. Again, these GRASS principles are divided into some primary principle and some secondary principles, such as creator, information, expert, low coupling, controller, and high cohesion. Up to this point. That is first 5 principles up to this point. High cohesion. These are called as primary GRASS principles. And then indirection, polymorphism, protected, variation, pure fabrication. These are called as secondary GRASS principles. Again, they are divided. So responsibility, we already seen what do you mean by responsibility. Responsibility can be accomplished by single object or group of collaborating objects. So GRASS help us. So what is the role of GRASS? So GRASS help us in deciding which responsibility should be assigned to which object or class. So these are the good principles. So identify the object and responsibility from the problem domain, and also identify how objects interact with each other. How objects interact with each other. So GRASS give us these things. Or GRASS define blueprint for those objects. GRASS define blueprint for those objects, interacting object, that is class with methods implementing those responsibility. So we are creating one blueprint. This is the class, this is the responsibility. It should be completed by this class so that I can add this method in that class. Getting my point? Or maybe these are 5 classes and this is one responsibility. These are 5 classes and I am assigning this one responsibility to these 5 classes so that these classes should contain these methods to complete this single responsibility. So that these 5 classes should collaborate with each other. So how to assign this responsibility to these 5 classes? That is a big question. And for that, GRASS principle. So very first principle, creator. Creator is a very first principle. So whenever we are designing the software, we have a very first responsibility. Who create an object of my class? Okay, class is designed. But who will create object of my class? Whether that class itself or another class? Who will create object of my class? That is very first question. That class should create its object. Shall I include constructor in that class or no? Or any another class will create object for my class? That is big question. Who will create car? Who will create object? Who create object? Or who should create a new instance of some class or my class? So for that, this creator principle says that, creator principle क्या कहता है? श्री कृष्ण भगवान क्या कहते हैं गीता में वैसे? What creator principle says? According to creator principle, according to creator GRASS principle, container object should always create contained object. Again, I am repeating. According to creator principle, according to creator GRASS principle, container object should create contained object. Container object means a container is there, obviously, and within container There are components. So I will repeat this statement. Container object should contain component objects. Suppose you have designed a class car. Car has an engine. Car has a engine. That is aggregation. You already learned. Car has a engine. So who will create the engine object? Car should create the engine object. Car should create the engine object because the object of engine behave as a data member in car object. So car is a container and engine is contained in a car. So car should create an object also. So decide who can be creator based on the object association and their interaction. So how you are associated that object? How you are associated engine class with car class? Obviously, you are associated engine class with car class with aggregation. There is aggregation association between that car and engine. So obviously, according to creator principle, according to creator grass principle, your car should create an engine object. I will give another example. Consider a video store and video. Suppose we are designing a software for video store. We are designing a software for video store. And video, within that video store, two classes are there, video store and video. So video store has aggregation associated with video. See, your word is aggregation. See, your word is aggregation. That is, video store class has an aggregation association with video class. That is, video store is container and video is component of that container, or video is contained in video store. So we can initiate video object in video store class. That is, when we are giving the call or when we are executing the constructor of video store class, there must be a call to video object constructor. Getting my thing? You should nest the constructor of video inside the video store constructor, or whatever our car and engine example. You should include the call to engine constructor in the constructor of car class. Then engine object is constructed. So we are assigning the responsibility to create the video object in video store class. We are assigning to create the engine object, this responsibility, the doing responsibility to car object. Okay, my student, I think all of you understood this thing. So this is the diagram, domain model diagram, or it is a class diagram. That is, my video is associated with video store by this aggregation or composition. So how I can convert it into design? In design, while I am designing the sequence diagram, I am assigning to create responsibility. I am assigning this create responsibility to whom? To video store. I am assigning this create responsibility to whom? Video store, and video store will create object of video class because this video is contained in video store. There is a aggregation or there is a composition between these things. So whenever composition, so I am assigning this create responsibility to video store. Hey, video store, it is your responsibility to create the object of video, because we have two classes, video store and video, and we are having one responsibility, create object of video. To whom we shall assign? To video or video store. So create principle, create grass principle, tell us the good thing. Always give responsibility to container. Okay, that's simple. This principle. So I will again come back to you. So people, are you understanding what I am teaching? Just give me some feedback. Any student? You can give it by chat box, or you can give it, you can unmute your microphone, your phone, and you can give some response. Are you getting? समजते तुम्हाला बाळांनो? Thank you, Amay. Thank you, Dhruv. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you, Ajay, Shekhar. Thank you very much. So I'm trying my best to, thank you, Indrajit, to convey you the message, because these patterns are some, that is some confusing concept. It is some difficult concept. You must know all object-oriented principle, aggregation, composition, responsibility, constructor. You must know all that things. And obviously, it is expected that you are T and B student, means you must know all that things. Okay. Sir, आपण बरोबर चाललोय का? Sir, we are going in a right track.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your feedback also. So we will move further. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is, in this way, this creator principle tells us who will create the object. So our first problem gets solved in design, because patterns is for problem. This is the problem in front of us, to whom I assign the responsibility of creating. Oh, okay. So creator is a solution. So what is our basic definition of pattern? Problem and solution. So creator is a pattern for this problem. Who will create object? So next, GRASS principle is the expert principle, or it is sometime in some book it is called as information expert. So again, what is the problem? In first bullet, there is a problem, and expert is a solution for that problem. So in first bullet, what is problem? Given an object O, which responsibilities can be assigned to O? Another question now in design. I have one class, or I have one object of that class whose name is O. And now the question in front of my, as a designer, which responsibility can I assign to that O? O ला कुठली responsibility do? कौन सा responsibility देना चाहिए O को? That is a question. We have someone. Suppose you are arranging some event in your college. You are distributing the responsibility. But आपके क्लास में कोई ऐसा लड़का या some student is there in your class, he is not doing anything. So then there is a big question in front of you. अरे यार उसको क्या काम देंगे? What responsibility should I assign? So here also, for your problem, for that event also, this expert will work. So expert principle says that, expert GRASS principle says that, assign those responsibility to O for which O has information to fulfill that responsibility. कि उस लड़के को हम कौन सा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दे? अरे उसकी पहचान बहुत है, he can collect some sponsorship for us, for our event, because he knows so many industry persons, he knows so many businessmen, he has the information of so many businessmen. So we will give responsibility or to that student to collect the sponsorship for our event. Okay? या ऐसे है कि जिसके पास जो नहीं है उसको दिया, तो that is a bad thing, na? That is, if you are not doing that thing, it's still responsibility is assigned. You can't perform it very well. In the same manner, in software also, if think about that object, what information that object is having. Okay, I'm assigning this responsibility to that object, but that object is having that information. Think about that. That object has that data types, that object has that data, that object has that variable. Suppose you want to calculate the area, and you are written that area of circle, and you are writing that method in rectangle class. Area of circle will get calculated? No. Obviously, that rectangle class do not have the radius information which is required to calculate the area of circle. We should include that method in circle class. Suppose calc area of circle. You want to assign this responsibility. And you have two classes. One is circle and another one is rectangle. Can you assign calculate area of circle to rectangle? No. Because rectangle is having length and width information. You do not have that radius information, which is we require to calculate the area of circle. So expert. So apply this principle when you are assigning the responsibility. Information expert. Assign such responsibility to that class, that class should have that information. They have all information needed to perform operation or not. Or in some cases, they collaborate with other to fulfill that responsibility. You think in this way. Okay, that class is not having information, but can that class collaborate with another class? Suppose you want to calculate again area of circle. That area of circle is do not having the pi constant as an information, but can he collaborate? Can that class collaborate with another class to get that pi? Yes, he can. Okay, then we will assign that. So in this way, expert principle says that assign those responsibility to object for which object has information to fulfill that responsibility. Okay. Again, example of for expert. Again, assume we are designing the software for video store. Assume we need to get all videos of video store. I want list of all the videos within a video store. Since video store knows about all the videos, we can assign this responsibility to giving all the videos to video store. We are assigning, that is, we need a list of videos. How many videos the video store is having? So video store is here, information export. So my class video store. So my class video store is an information export here. And I will assign that I want a list of thing to the video store. Okay. So again, all videos are contained in video store. Means video store is having all responsibility. So get all videos. I'm assigning this responsibility to video store. Get all videos. Get all videos. It is assigned to video store. And here video store is information export because he know about all the videos. So in this way, I'm designing. Designing means what? Either I'm drawing some sequence diagram or some activity diagram. Or drawing such sequence diagram is called as realization of use case. Getting my point? My student, the concept. Realizing the use case. How to realize the use case? Convert that use case into sequence diagram means realization. That is, okay, use case la break करायचं. You have to break that use case. Use case को फोड़ना है. How we can break that use case? By drawing sequence diagram. And whatever फोड़ना to use case, whatever the explore the use case is called as realization. And how we are realizing use case? By drawing such. So get all videos is one use case. Get all videos is one use case, and we are realizing. See how use case plays the more important. One use case means what? It is responsibility or bunch of responsibility, and we are assigning that responsibility. So use case is a central part of our unified approach. Next principle, I think now you understood the expert also. You understood the expert also. So my student, you understood expert also. So assign the responsibility to object in such a way that that object should have that information, or object should know to whom I can collaborate to fulfill that responsibility. Okay. So we move further. So I'm going to again in presentation mode. Next principle is Low coupling. First, we will go to software engineering, third year, first same. Coupling. What do you mean by coupling? So coupling means object dependency on another object, or how two objects connected. Coupling. How strongly objects are connected to each other is called as coupling. So coupling object depending on another object. What do you mean by coupling? How one object depend on another object. So when depend upon the element changes, when depended upon element changes, it affects the dependent also. When depended upon element change, so there are two things, two classes. Suppose I am depend on Pratik sir to conduct this class for you people. I am depend on Pratik sir. Pratik sir is arranging the meeting and all that thing. So I am depend on Pratik sir. If there is a change in behavior of Pratik sir, obviously I am get affected. कि प्रतीक सर ने पत्की सर को बुलाना ही नहीं है इस बार, आई एम गेट अफेक्टेड. और Patki sir and all MMCY student, IT student depend on Pratik sir. There is a dependability on Pratik sir. High coupling. Coupling is very high. If Pratik sir is not there, we can't meet. I can't teach you grass pattern. Dependability is very high among the object. So whenever you want to design a software, that coupling should be low. In software engineering, you learn always good design, low coupling, high cohesion. Low coupling, high cohesion. So how we can low the coupling? That is, if I am giving directly number to you people, you can directly contact me. Or you can contact through Pratik sir also. That is, you are depend on Pratik sir, but you are, now there is a low coupling. Because I am providing you direct my number. Okay, I think you know the concept of coupling. So whenever in designing the classes also, while assigning the responsibility also, so low coupling principle, what it say? Reduce the impact of change. Reduce the impact of change. If one object is changing, one class is changing, its dependent should not change. Getting my point, my student? If one class it changes, suppose there is change in business and it affect class number 1 and class number 2 is depend on that. So that change in business should not affect class number 2. There is only change in class number 1. Low coupling. We have to reduce the impact of change. We should reduce the impact of change. And when impact of change is reduced, when there is a low coupling between classes. So always prefer low coupling. Always prefer low coupling. What Grass principle is saying? Low coupling Grass principle is saying. So here Grass, the Sri Krishna for us, is saying that, hey Bhakts, always designing the software, always assigning the software, there should be low coupling. Assign responsibilities so that coupling remain low. Minimize the dependency, hence making system more maintainable, more efficient, and more code reusable. That is important again. When there is a low coupling, code reuse is there. And there is a low coupling, simply I can plug and play the classes. Whenever there is change in business, I can detach some classes and I can attach new classes. Getting my point? Or whenever there is a low coupling, I can detach that code or detach that class and I can use that class in another software. There is a code reusable. If you are learning this Grass principle, you can use code for n number of softwares which are similar in nature. Okay, so low coupling, always low coupling. So two elements are coupled. When two elements or two classes is coupled, when one element has aggregation or composition association with another element, there is a coupling. Or one element implement or extend the element, that is generalization is there. So while doing the generalization, while doing the aggregation, while doing the composition, always think about low coupling. So I will give you the example. Suppose example of poor coupling, high coupling, high coupling. Here class rent knows about both video store and video objects. So rent is depending upon both the classes. Suppose rent video, we want to calculate the rent of video. We have to get all video from video store and get the title of video from title video store. Means if there is a change on rent class, there is a change in rent class, there is a change in business in rent class, obviously these two classes get affected because they are connected. They are connected by simple association. So hence class rent know about video store and video object. So rent is depend on both the classes. Rent is depend on this class and this class. Both the classes they are depend. So it is poor coupling or a high coupling. But what our principle is saying, always there is a low coupling. So how I can reduce? I can do in this way. Now video store and video class are coupled and rent class is coupled with video store, thus providing low coupling. Now if there is a change in business in rent video, only one class is affected. But in last example, two classes are affected. So always low coupling should be there. Or you can use this video class, you can easily detach this video class from this thing because it is low coupled with the inner class diagram and you can use it in another diagram. You can use it, you can reuse it. You can reuse this class. You can reuse this class because it is not so connected. So you can reuse this class. So next principle is a controller principle. Again, I come back to you. समझले तीन principle. Have you got all three principles? Creator, information expert, low coupling. Creator, information expert, low coupling. So you, now we will move towards the fourth principle.
Yes.
Yes. So controller is a fourth grasp principle. So what controller is saying? Deals with how to delegate a request from UI layer to object to domain layer objects. So all of you know how we are developing a software, a multi-tier architecture. Unified approach, you already learn in unit number 1. Unified approach supports multi-tier architecture. Or it is one architecture principle, architecture pattern. Multi-tier means presentation layer, business layer, access layer, and below that, so presentation layer, below that one business layer, and below that one access layer, and below that some databases are there. So this is UI layer, this is business layer, and this is access layer. You all learn all that thing. Unit number 1. Okay, that is how to delegate the responsibility from this UI layer to business layer. Okay, UI, suppose some button is clicked in UI. Some button get clicked in UI layer. Here some button is get clicked. So whenever that button is get clicked, which object should execute the thing? Suppose button is executed, login. So whenever button is executed, button is clicked, who should handle that thing? Which domain model from business layer should handle? So for that, to give the question to the Solution to this question is controller pattern. How to delegate the events from UI layer to underlying business object. See, if you are thinking in this way, your design becomes very simple. This is called as responsibility driven architecture. Button is click. Who should handle? So when a request comes from UI layer object, controller pattern helps us in determining what is the first object that receives that message from UI layer. So this object is called controller object, which receive the request from UI layer object, and then controller coordinate with other object of the domain layer to fulfill the request. So to delegate the work to other class, and this coordinate the overall activities handled by some controller object. So you should design some controller class who will just take the request from UI, and then he will think and he will assign which method of another object should execute it. So always you do not give direct call to underlying business object. You design some controller. So this controller is nothing but in your MVC architecture, model view controller. That is a controller. Whatever the MVC architecture, whether you are designing using Java or MVC architecture, you are designing by the .NET, or MVC architecture you are designing by Angular. Once you, my student, once you know this basic concept now, Angular, Java, .NET, that all things become very easy to learn. All very easy to learn. I learned whole Angular within 8 days because I know MVC, I know controller. So yeah, Angular is nothing but it is a modified MVC architecture. So before, how we are designing the website before Angular, we are writing some HTML, we are writing some CSS, and we are writing some JavaScript. We are writing these three things differently. Angular means it is a combination of all these three things. That's fine. And they are designed, Google has designed new framework, Angular or Angular JS or whatever they are, Flutter or all that things. Basic things are these things. So controller, we can make an object as a controller if object represent the overall system. Your object should, कुणाला controller बनवायचं? Class मध्ये monitor कुणाला बनवलं जातं रे? Who will be the CR of class? Who know whole class? Who is a friend with all classmates? Who know each and every girl, each and every boy, who is familiar. So how people, so how Pratik sir is also having some class CR. If some person is there in class, की त्याला सांगितलं की सगळ्याला मेसेज जातो. एक असतो सौम्या प्रत्येक क्लासमध्ये, त्याला सांगितलं. So in same way, how to design a controller? You design a controller in this way who knows all the object, who knows overall system. So object represent a use case. Object represent a use case handling a sequence of operation. It is called a session controller. So what is the benefit? Can reuse this controller class? Yes, we can reuse that controller class. We can use to maintain the state of the use case through that controller, and can control the sequence of activities also. If this event is clicked, go to this object. If this button is clicked, go to that object. It control the sequence of activities, controller. But sometimes what happens, so this is the example of controller. So some UI object is there. So this controller is there. So controller is invoking the action B, action A. So that action A is there. He must know where is that action. So here one responsibility is assigned to this class, and then he is distributing that responsibility among the objects, controller. So you must design such controllers. You design this class diagram. First you design this class diagram, and above that class diagram you design some controller. So this is your UI, this is your business layer. Getting my point? So I have designed so many things on that diagram. So in this way, some responsibility is assigning some button get click. So you have to perform some action and you will assign it to underlying object. So you design such controller, but sometimes some drawbacks are also there. It is called as bolted controller or bolted controller. So controller class is called as bolted if the class is overloaded with too many responsibility. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक ही क्लास टीचर एक ही सीआर डिजाइन की है. इफ वन सीआर इज देयर अमंग ऑल टीचर तो वो सीआर ओवरलोडेड हो जाएगा. प्रतीक सर का भी काम सुनो, दूसरे मैडम का भी काम सुनो, सो ही विल गेट फ्रस्ट्रेटेड. So add more. So what is the solution? Add more controller. Controller class also performing many tasks instead of delegating it to other classes. So solution, controller class has delegate things to others. So for very good example of controller class, suppose you are pressing login button and you are design only one controller. That login will running the finding out the whether that username is he is accessing the username and password, is unpacking the things here, he convert it into string, then it convert it string into the database query, and then database query will go to database, then again result is collected, then again that controller is checking the things, and again he is giving response to user. So such controller will get overloaded. Instead of that, what you are doing, you design one controller and then design separate classes. One class to handle the database connection, one class to compare the result from database, and one class to create the response and then give that response to controller. Getting the thing? We'll come to our another. Suppose here login button is clicked. So you design this controller. So this object A will handle database connection. Object B will handle the comparing thing. Getting my thing? You delegate the responsibility always. So in organization behavior, when you are running any organization also, this is also the management concept. Delegation of authority. Delegation of authority. Suppose in your department, every responsibility is given to Pratik sir. कि प्रतीक सर ने गेस्ट लेक्चर भी कंडक्ट करना चाहिए, प्रतीक सर ने इवेंट भी कंडक्ट करना चाहिए, प्रतीक सर ने हॉस्टल का भी काम करना चाहिए. नो, प्रतीक सर will get overloaded. So Pratik sir must know to whom I assign this task. So that we are designing the organization structure. There is one principal, there are HODs, there are class teacher, there are GFM, and there are some another teacher, there are lab. We are designing in this way. So same software means nothing the thing, delegation of authority. So your HOD is a controller of your department and principal is a UI. Principal assigned responsibility to HOD, then HOD will know, yes, Pratik sir is expert in that, I will assign that. Okay. So this is the controller class. And bolted controller, design more controller. So this is the controller principle. So you also, when you are designing the system, GRASS principle say that design some controller who knows. Again, controller should be the information expert. So now you think in this way also, the combination of GRASS principle. It is not the thing that you should design the principles independently. You can design the principle combinedly also. Next is a high cohesion. High cohesion. What do you mean by? So we already learned low coupling, but cohesion should be high. So this is a magic when you are designing. कि सर आप कह रहे हो कि वो depend भी नहीं होना चाहिए, but वो connected भी होना चाहिए. How it is possible? So that is the magic. That is the good designer art. That object should communicate with each other, but they should not depend. Getting my thing, student? High cohesion. They should communicate, frequently communicate. They should frequently communicate with each other, but they should not be depend on each other. They should not be depend on each other. High cohesion, low coupling. High cohesion, low coupling. So how are the operations of any element are functionality related? However, the operation of any element or functionality related, see in this way. Related responsibility in one manageable unit. Related responsibility should be in one manageable unit. How to achieve the cohesion? So whatever the related responsibility, you combine it in one unit so that there is a high cohesion. Prefer high cohesion. Always prefer high cohesion. Clearly define the purpose of element or purpose of engagement. So what are the benefits? Easily understandable and maintainable code reuse, and whenever there is a high cohesion, obviously there is a low coupling. So high cohesion. So high cohesion is say that what is the problem is solved by this high cohesion. Problem is that to whom my object should communicate. So related responsibility, related object should you combine so that your object should communicate with them. And these are the benefits of this high cohesion. So this is the example of high cohesion. Again, student object. We are assigning so many responsibility to one object. Get student detail, access DB, DB calls, insert into DB. Everything is doing student only. So it is low cohesion. It is low cohesion. That is only one object is. It is not connecting with each other. सब कुछ वो अकेला ही कर रहा है. Student is doing everything. Student is giving get student detail. Student is accessing database. Student is giving database call. Student is inserting the data. Same class is doing all the thing. There is no cohesion. That is not the thing. अकेला आदमी कुछ नहीं कर सकता है. So in the same manner, single class can't do each and everything. So convert it into in this way. Design one more class. Design one more class, suppose DB class or DB access class, DB connection class, who can handle the things related to DB. And he just give a message, insert student in that. And then another responsibility I assign to this class, DB class. Now there is a cohesion. These two classes are cohesively working, but they are not dependent. So again, while you are assigning the responsibility to another class, while you are separating the responsibility of another class, you are achieving high cohesion, no doubt. But there must be low coupling. There must be low coupling. They should not depend on each other. They should not depend on each other, because low coupling is another principle. You have to achieve these both things. So it is an art. Just we are walking on some edge. While walking on some edge of wall, how precaution we are taking, that is, I should not fall on that side and I should not fall on this side also. I have to walk very smoothly on that edge of wall so that I cannot fall down through that wall. In the same manner, you have to achieve the high cohesion, but when you are achieving the high cohesion, coupling must be low. Next principle is a polymorphism. You already know, you learn this polymorphism since your second year C++. So how to handle related but varying elements based on element type? Polymorphism. That is how to handle related but varying elements based on element type. So polymorphism guides us in deciding which object is responsible for handling those varying elements. So I will explain it to you by example. Suppose this is a shape class, and to shape class I have given the responsibility get area, because shape class is also having method get area, but that method within the shape class is virtual method or abstract method. But now shape class is connected with circle and triangle. So now it is responsibility of shape class to whom I give that call. And here polymorphism principle say that the gate area varies by the type of shape. कि आपको कौन सा area calculate करना है. So shape class will ask to that UI layer or someone who is asking gate area, भाई तुझे कौन से क्लास का एरिया चाहिए, सर्कल और ट्रायंगल? अगर भाई ने कहा यस आई वांट सर्कल, देन shape class will execute the method in area class. Shape class will method execute. That is here the data type of parameter is checked. Data type of get area method is checked. And always dynamic data type. That is how, who is calling this get area? Whether circle dot get area is there or triangle dot get area is there. So by sending the message to shape object, a call will be made to the corresponding subclass object, whether circle or triangle. Whether circle or triangle. So this is called as a polymorphism. Polymorphism. Again, I come back. So how to handle the related but varying element? That is triangle and circle and get area. They are related element, but they are varying in type. They are varying in type. So which gate area is to be executed? It is depend upon what is the type, who is calling that gate area method, whether it is triangle dot gate area or whether it is circle dot gate area. Accordingly, shape will execute the method. And this is nothing but it is called as method overloading. Sorry, it is called as method overriding. That is, from so many days we are using this principle, but we don't know this is a grass principle. Getting my thing? So many you have designed such assignment in second year. Method overriding. And in method overriding, always dynamic data type of object will govern the method selection. Dynamic data type of object. That is, which object is calling this gate method, circle or triangle. So depending on that, the call will. So this is called as polymorphism. So up to polymorphism, there are primary grasp principle. From poor fabrication, secondary grasp principle. That is, you can achieve this principle, or this principle can be explained with the help of primary principle. So it is called as secondary principles. Pure fabrication is the next principle. Pure fabrication. Fabricated class or artificial class. Fabricated class or artificial class. So assign the set of related responsibility that doesn't represent any domain object. Responsibility that doesn't represent any domain object. So that red underline is important. Suppose you are assigning the responsibility, or assign one responsibility to class 1, two responsibility to class 1, 3 responsibility to class 1, 4 responsibility to class 5. You have done all that thing, but still some responsibilities are remaining. And no one domain object is suitable to handle that responsibilities. Classes khatam ho gaye, still responsibilities are remaining. That is, if you purchase so many, suppose you are in your class somewhere, you are going for a party, you have purchased so many pizzas. Sabka पेट भर गया, still some pizza is remaining. Suppose you 4 friends go to the some pizza party, you have distributed the pizza, you have eaten the so much pizza, and still one pizza is remaining. Some responsibilities are remaining. Pizza to khatam karna hai. We have to assign the responsibility to some class, but classes are not there. Classes are not suitable to assign. So in that class, design some class which handle that responsibility. Though that class is not domain object. Such a class are called as fabricated classes. You are fabricating that class. Domain is not representing class. Whatever the domain in which that software is there, there is no analysis class, no domain class. So provide a high cohesion set of activities. Again, it provides the high cohesion set of activities. So while assigning these responsibility, follow the cohesion also. While designing fabricated class, follow the cohesion. So pure fabrication is called as secondary grasp principle. Behavioral decomposition. You do बिहेवियरल डिकम्पोजिशन. सपोज 10 रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आज देअर, असं नाही की शिल्लक राहिले म्हणून सगळं एकाच क्लासमध्ये टाकायचे. इट इज नॉट द केस की दॅट इज ओके 10 रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज आर रिमेनिंग, डिझाइन दॅट 10 रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी विथ वन क्लास. नो, डोंट डू दॅट थिंग. Behavioral decomposition. You find out the responsibility. Yes, out of 10, these 3 responsibilities are related. Design one class for that 3. Okay, out of that 10, these 4 responsibilities are related another fabrication. Okay, another from this. So examples are adapter and strategy pattern. Gang of 4. So you go to adapter. Adapter means what? Which convert one thing into another thing. You are using so many adapters. I am using the adapter for my laptop currently, which convert the 450 volt into 10 volt for my laptop. Adapter. So same thing. You have to design some adapter and you can assign such conversion responsibility to that adapter class. Or strategy pattern. To whom I assign the strategy pattern means you have n number of algorithms. But which algorithm should execute runtime? Suppose you want to do the sorting and you have 10 sorting algorithms: selection sort, bubble sort, insertion sort. But which sorting method should execute? I have all sorting method. So I have to design one class, one pattern, strategy class, which decide depending upon strategy. If this is the data, if data is sorted, I will go for bubble sort. If data is not sorted, I will go for insertion sort. Okay, depending upon the situation, how data is, I will execute the my sorting algorithm strategy. Okay, what is the runtime? सरनं मला असं विचारलं तर मी तसं उत्तर देईन आणि सरनं मला तसं विचारलं तर मी असं उत्तर देईन. You are deciding that thing. You are preparing. When you want to tell something story to sir, ki sir this will happen and then that thing, then your friend will ask, but if sir is asked this thing, then look sir, if sir is asking this thing, I will change the story strategy. So in same manner, so depending upon the strategy, which strategy should I follow? You can design some fabricated class. If data is this thing, go for selection sort. If data is that thing, means who is checking data? Fabricated class. So benefits: high cohesion, low coupling, and can reuse this class. You can reuse this adapter and strategy anywhere. So this is called as pure fabrication. So Grass is saying when responsibilities are remaining, pizza is remaining, give that pizza to someone else, and that someone else is called as fabricated class. Okay, we move further. Getting my student fabricated class. पूजा मुळे, कोमल कुलकर्णी, अमय जोशी, आकाश चोपडे. ओके, म्हणजे आहेत सगळे बाजूला. ओके, थँक्यू कोमल, थँक्यू. मीन्स पीपल आर देअर ॲट बॅक एंड. यस, ध्रुव इज ऑल्सो देअर. सर सगळी मुलं आहेत. छान आहेत तुमची मुलं, फसवत नाही.
येस सर, एवढे बसलेत, मला पण आश्चर्य वाटते सर.
चलो, प्युअर फॅब्रिकेशन. वी विल मूव फर्दर. Example, suppose we have a shape class, and if we must store the shape detail in databases, if we put this responsibility in shape class, there will be many database related operation, thus make the shape class. So again I will go to this example. So this DB is what? Here see here, the student is doing all the things, but I have fabricated. DB is not domain related class. DB is a domain related class. No, I have designed it which handle the database related activities. Again means while designing fabricated class, we are achieving cohesion also. See here, we have benefit, high cohesion. So same example I have given, but instead of student I have given. So create a fabricated class DB store instead of DB store, which is responsible to perform all database related class. So fabricated class means not a kachra kundi, keeps all responsibility in one class. No, you can design the related resource. Similarly, log interface. which is related to logging. What system is doing, which object is doing what thing, that is called as logging. So logging is very important when you are doing the recovery type of thing. Suppose you want to do the recover something, you will go to the log class or log file and you will do what will happen in history and you can do the logging. So logging plays very important role in recovery database management system. Indirection is again the secondary grasp principle. Next graph principle. How can we avoid the direct coupling between two or more elements? That is the problem. That is the problem. How we can avoid a direct coupling between the two or more elements. So indirection introduced the intermediate unit to communicate between the other unit so that the other units are not directly coupled. Benefits low coupling. Again, adapter, facade, and observer. Or suppose in Angular software, Angular is one software to design the good web applications. In Angular, we can do this indirection. There is a use of this indirection, but it is called as direct injection. Suppose we can design one service. In that Angular, we are designing one service. Suppose one service is here, establish a database connection. And that service is needed by so many components in my software. The student class want to establish database connection. Okay. Faculty class want to establish database connection. Okay. Principal class want to establish database connection. Okay. Means one class, so many classes are using that service indirection. So database is, all the classes are not connected with database. So indirection introduces an intermediate unit to communicate between the other units. So the other units are not directly coupled. Low coupling. So how to achieve low coupling? Indirection. So it is called as secondary grasp principles. If we are achieving this secondary grasp principle, obviously primary principle get fulfilled. So it is called secondary. So adapter means what? Which is converting one thing into another thing. Up in your house, one adapter can be used by, that is, Papa is using same adapter to charge their phone. Mummy is using same adapter to charge their phone. Dadi is using same adapter to charge her phone. Bhaiya is using same adapter to charge his phone. And you also using your adapter, same adapter to charge your phone. One family, one adapter. So many family member, one adapter. You can implement this thing in software also. You can design such adapter so that the one service can be used by so many components. Low coupling. Coupling is low now. That is, so many components are depend on adapter, but not depend on the another domain object. So whenever, because domain objects are mainly affected by change in business, adapter will not affect. Simply, if there is change in business, we can change adapter only, not change the other business object. Low coupling. Change get automatically adapted. So see how these principles are important while designing the maintainable software. Indirect. So indirection is a unit. So what indirection principle says? Introduce an intermediate unit to communicate between other unit. Always introduce some intermediate unit. Indirection. Example of indirection. Here polymorphism illustrate indirection. See again, polymorphism is primary principle which illustrate this indirection. Class employee provides a level of indirection to other units of system. Salary. So get total salary, get employee salary. So employee act as a level of indirection here. So if salary object has a request, get total salary. So it will get first, get employee salary, all employee salaries. And in this way, then salary class will calculate this total salary. Suppose there are so many employees. So it is taking salary from so many employees and then it calculate total salary. So here employee acts at level of indirection. Maybe here a database is there or something is there through which the salary will be fetched. So here class employee provide the level of indirection to other unit of subsystem. Next is protected variation, another principle. How to avoid the impact of variation of some element on another element. Again, you can see here it is a low coupling, nothing but. Protected variation means what? Low coupling. So it provides a well-defined interface so that there will be no effect of other units. Or protected variation we can achieve through indirection also. Same thing. Provide interfaces means what? Design some unit. Provide the flexibility and protection from variations. Provide more structured design. Example, polymorphism, data encapsulation, designing the interfaces so that that interface or wrapper classes are the example of protected variations. That is, we are protecting our data. Or data encapsulation. Whatever the data we are encapsulated within the class, the data is changed by the another class? No, because the data is protected one. Only the method within a class can access. So method within a class behave as a interface to outer world. Getting my point here, student? So I will show you one diagram for this data encapsulation from another PPT. So how this protected variation will work? So I have one example, good example for you people. Desktop, RPP, and then CPP device classes. And this is not the thing. This diagram. So how protected will happen? See here this diagram. This is a protected. This is a good example of our protected variation. That is, this private data is protected from this outside class. Whatever the white area, that white area is a outside world, and this blue area is my inside world or inside class. So this protected data we can access through outside world, but through only some set inverse. That is the public method for that class. That is that class method should have access to data, but outside world do not have access. So this set, increment, write, time, these are called as protected variations. Protected variations for my data. So data encapsulation, whatever I have shown you, that is nothing but the example is the data encapsulation is an example of protected variation. How to avoid the impact of variation? That is, if outside world do not have access to that data, obviously impact of variation get avoided. So how to avoid the impact of variation of some element on other element? So obviously what protected variation principle says? provides a well-defined interfaces so that there will be no effect of other units. So you provide such method which can have access to that database or that data in a class. So these are nothing but all the 9 GRASS principles, all the 9 GRASS principles. Hope you understand all these 9 principles. So question will be asked in university exam. So no one will ask you the question very tricky, because now I'm not the chairman of this subject. When I was a chairman, I'm asking some tricky questions. But now a straightforward question will be asked sometimes. Name of type of grass design pattern with one example of each. Just give a name, or just give or same question will be asked in another way. List 9 principles of patterns, principle or patterns of grass, and explain any 2 using example. Any 2, any 3. If 6-mark question, any 2 or any 3. If 8-mark question, any 4. So such question will be there. But if I am the chairman, I have asked such a question. I have not asked the straightforward question. So I have asked such a question. A chess game is there. I have asked case study. A chess game include 2 players, 32 pieces, that is 16 per player, and a game board with 64 squares. Draw a class diagram for a chess game showing creator and polymorphism grass pattern. That is, I have thrown some case study in front of student in question paper and asked them design this case study using creator and polymorphism. That is, your answer should reflect this thing. So what is, how are the answer is designed? So I will show you some model answer for that. So this is the question, and model answer is RPP SMD, and this is a model answer key. So such a question will be asked. Sometimes straightforward question will be asked. So this PPT is very useful for you people, or the grass pattern. No need to read anything. So see people, I will show you that thing also. Okay, how model answer will be designed at university level. So at university level, we design such model answer, and based on this model answers, your answer sheet will be evaluated. Okay, question is there, answer is there, and how that 4 marks are distributed. So such model answers are designed. So whenever case study is there, answers are there. So on grass principle, such question is asked in some your previous example. So that case study is here. That question is here, chess game question. So sometime in University of Pune, this question is asked. A chess game include 2 players, 32 pieces, 16 per player, and a game board with 64 squares. Draw a class diagram for chess game showing creator and polymorphism grass pattern. So this is the answer for that question. So this is my initial diagram. This is my initial diagram. That is domain level diagram. So 2 mark is there. And creator grass principle. What creator grass principle is says? Always the container should create the object of component. So possible move piece should create possible moves. Or here you can again that is chess game chess board contains squares. So here also you can find out creator principle, that is class board creates the square object. Class board should create square board object, or pieces should create possible moves object, because pieces create possible moves. Pieces is a container, or in this way I can show the creator principle. And grass pattern polymorphism, that is piece. Piece is a any whether it is a king or elephant or anything. Piece should create rook or bishop. So rook and bishop are the another pieces in my chessboard here. So here polymorphism is there, and within that I am showing piece can also move, rook can also move, and bishop can also move. But how rook is move in different way, how bishop will move in different way, but move is there, similar to our shape. So in this way you have to explain, you achieve the polymorphism method over loading, sorry, method over writing. So in this way you have to give the answers. So this type of question will be asked. Sometimes question will be straightforward. Just name the grass design pattern with one example of each. Very simple question. Or list the 9 principle and explain 2 thoroughly. Explain 3 thoroughly. Another type of question. Or case study type of question is there, and you have to convert. You have to find out the patterns and you have to redesign. Or sometimes some raw design is given you, and they will, some domain model is given you, and they will ask you redesign this domain model. Redesign this domain model according to grass principle, according to GOA principle. That may be the question. So this is the thing, my student, and very good book to learn this all principle is Applying UML and Pattern, 3rd edition by Karg Larman. Karg Larman is very good book to learn object oriented system design. Applying UML and Patterns, very good book, my favorite book. Obviously, again I am advertising Logipool Infotech. It is a pool of logical people, my student. Here we can give so many trainings. You can directly contact me if you want any training, or we have some employability program also. The fee is very high for that program, but directly we are giving you the 15-month experience along with salary. So fee is 1,50,000. It is 15-month contract between you and us. Within that, we will directly give you on day 1 the offer of appointment of Technogrowth Software Solution Private Limited, and then we will train you on some real-time projects. We will give you up to 6 months. We will train you. Within that, we will complete the certification according to your technical need, your technical domain on which you are working. We will complete your certification in that domain. We will take that responsibility. We will pay fee for you for that. And after 7 months, we will give you the 7,000 salary from your fee through some bank, so that your experience will be valid. And then after 15 months, again we will take some interview of your, and then we will again decide. Then you can decide whether you want to continue with us, or you can go in market and search another job. That is our business logic, or our business. Or we can teach you so many softwares also. For that we are providing only placement assistance, not guarantee. And second thing, I'm advertising here my YouTube channel. So student, go to that channel, learn freely so many technologies. I'm uploading so many videos. So I'm taking this video from sir also. Sir is recording this video, and I will upload this also. So this is my YouTube channel, RISESHINEKG2PG WW. So you go to that thing, or follow me on LinkedIn, Ravi Patki. Just follow, Director, Logipool Infotech. I am also the guest faculty for BITS Pilani courses. There I am teaching to so many MTech and BTech courses in BITS Pilani, and in so many industries such as Wipro and Sintel. I am teaching to BITS courses. So kindly like, share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. So
Thank you, sir.
Thank you sir. प्रतीक सर व्यवस्थित झालंय?
सर खूप छान झालं सर, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही. बेस्ट सर. तुम्हाला जास्त माहिती सर माझ्यापेक्षा, तुम्ही चेअरमन होते सर या विषयाला.
नाही असं
So
नाही. ऍज अ स्टुडंट or ऍज
viewer.
दिस व्ह्युअर ऑल्सो यू कॅन गिव्ह फीडबॅक सर. असं नाहीये
Yes,
प्रत्येकाला.
sir. I enjoyed the lecture. Examples was very good, sir. सगळे एक्झाम्पल खूप छान होते. खूप म्हणजे
If
खूप
you
छान
want
होते
to
सगळे
teach this
एक्झाम्पल.
subject, you should have a more case study. That is software
Case study,
engineering.
yes.
Software engineering and this OOD or SMD subject, student feels it boring. So you must have so
Yes.
much case study while dealing with this thing. मी तुम्हाला खोटं नाही सांगत, माझ्या सॉफ्टवेअर इंजिनिअरिंगच्या याच्यात 1 घंटा एकही मुलगा हलत नाही. दो स्टुडंट,
हो, हो,
because
हो.
software engineering subject is like that. For theory paper it is very easy, my student, but if any question
Yes,
is
yes.
there, design this thing as a software engineer by using the principle. Suppose explain the DFD, you can explain the all the things, but draw the DFD for this case study, then it is very difficult, software engineering. So that is the thing.
एक्झाम्पल मुळे सोपं झालं आणि समजतं पण लवकर, बऱ्यापैकी
Yes,
समजलं
yes,
सगळं
yes.
व्यवस्थित.
मला नो डिझाईन प्रिन्सिपल शिका. चिंटू सुद्धा कोडिंग शिकतोय व्हाईट हॅट वर. तुम्हाला प्रिन्सिपल्स आले पाहिजे, नाहीतर उद्या
व्हाईट हॅट
इन्फोसिस
ज्युनियर.
उद्या उद्या इन्फोसिस चिंटूला जॉब देईल, तुम्हाला देणार नाही.
येस. सो ही असाइनमेंट करतील पोरं आता. ही जी असाइनमेंट आहे ती मुलं करतील आता.
येस,
ग्रास्प आणि जीओएफ ची.
येस, येस, येस. त्यात त्यात त्या असाइनमेंट मध्ये मी सगळे काही करून दिलेलं आहे. म्हणजे दॅट इज आय हॅव
येस,
गिवन
येस, येस.
ॲज अ
सगळं.
स्टडी असाइनमेंट. किंवा तुम्ही हा जो
येस.
क्वेश्चन आहे ना सर, हा
हा,
क्वेश्चन
हा.
सुद्धा त्यांना असाइनमेंट म्हणून देऊ शकता की डिझाईन
बरोबर सर.
कोड
येस.
फॉर दिस. आता कोड करा,
हो, हो.
तुमच्याकडे
तेच तेच
डिझाईन
त्यांना
करा.
करायचंय आता. तेच त्यांना करायचंय. सर
हा,
फक्त
यू
मला
कॅन.
तुमचे दोन्ही पीपीटी सर शेअर करताल सर, जीओएफ
येस,
आणि
येस,
ग्रास्प.
ऑब्विसली, ऑब्विसली सर. पीपीटी लगेच तुम्हाला शेअर करेल. हा, तुम्ही
येस
मला
सर.
हा जो व्हिडिओ येईल ना तुमच्याकडे सर,
हो, 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 हो.
यू आर रेकॉर्डिंग दिस व्हिडिओ, काइंडली गिव्ह मी दिस व्हिडिओ.
ऑफकोर्स सर, तुम्हाला लगेच शेअर करतो मी. लगेच
Yes,
शेअर करतो.
thank you. So again, I am thanking to all the MMCOE management, principal, HOD sir, for giving me the opportunity to present myself in front of T and B student. So thank you all student for listening me so patiently since last 2 hours. Sir, आपण exactly संपवलं 1 वाजता.
येस, येस, येस. एक्झॅक्टली 1 वाजता. 2 तास लागले
Yes, yes.
करेक्टली.
So it requires 2 hours. Obviously, it requires 5 to 6 hours to teach, but
हा, हा,
as
हा.
toward I have designed the PPT in that way.
या, या. येस,
So
येस.
thank you,
एक्झॅक्टली.
student. Thank you very much. So it is my request you kindly follow me on LinkedIn so that my connection will get increased. Obviously, from business point of view, I will get benefited. Okay. Also
येस
tell
सर.
your
डेफिनेटली.
another college friends also. Go to this channel. There are so many videos. So it is my request to all you student, Sachin, Meenakshi, Amay, Komal, Geeta, Gaurav. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you, student. Thank you very much. If you again feel any difficulty, you are free to ask me in chat box. I will give you my number. Anytime you can ping me. I'm always ready to solve the doubts of students. You feel
नोट
any
डाऊन द नंबर स्टुडंट्स.
you feel any career guidance or, and I'm giving everything free of cost. Don't think की सर मी हे करू का, सर मला
येस
असा
सर.
प्रॉब्लेम येतोय, आय वॉन्ट युअर ओपिनियन. यू कॅन टेक माय ओपिनियन, नो डाऊट. त्याला काय ऐकावं, सगळ्याचं काय करायचंय ते तुम्ही करू शकता, बट यू कॅन टेक माय ओपिनियन ऑल्सो. सर, my younger brother want to take admission, I will provide that services also, because now I am not associated with any college or anything. I'm free from that. Thank you students. Thank you very
येस.
much. Sir,
थँक्यू
I'm
सर.
leaving the
थँक्यू.
meeting. It is my
येस सर. येस सर.
request,
येस सर.
kindly share the recording of this
ऑफकोर्स सर. ऑफकोर्स, ऑफकोर्स सर. येस
through
सर.
Google Drive.
डेफिनेटली.
If it is size is more, share it through Google Drive.
Yes sir. Yes sir. Definitely. I will
Yes,
share the link directly so that you can download it sir from your into your PC sir.
yes, sir. That's great, sir. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes
you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Again,
Thank
I
you so
thank
much
you
sir.
whole MMCOE.
Yeah sir. Thank you.
Okay. I'm leaving, sir.
Yes sir. I'll also tell the student to join the next lecture.
Okay.
Yeah, students should take 15 minutes of break and after that join your respective lecture. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. If you enjoyed the lecture, please comment in the chat box as a yes. Have you enjoyed the lecture? I personally enjoyed the lecture because examples was very good. It explained the concept very properly, and I now request to B students to implement the assignment on gang of 4 patterns and grasp pattern. Okay, GOF pattern and grasp pattern. Sir has explained everything with examples, so now it is your duty to implement those remaining 2 assignments on GOF and grasp. Thank you. Thank you once again, and join your next lecture in 15 minutes. Take 15 minutes of break now. Thank you so much. I'm leaving the meeting now. Thank you. Bye.